Good morning, dear students. In history, we were doing the chapter The First War of Independence. This is the third video which we are recording. In previous videos, we have discussed the various causes which has led to the revolt of 1857, in which we have already discussed political and socio-religious causes. Today, we will be discussing economic, military, and immediate cause. Economic cause, in which we'll see how the Britishers exploited economic resources in our country. So basically, Indians were forced to export raw materials at cheaper rates to the Britishers. Second, Indians were forced to grow the cash crops. Cash crops examples such as India, indigo and tea to grow in the fields. Okay, why Britishers were forcing Indians to grow cash crops? Because it was in great demand in Britain. People in England, they wanted more and more of cash crops, so therefore Britishers were forcing Indians to grow cash crops in their fields. Then Indians were forced to accept ready-made British goods either duty-free or at the nominal rates. So we can see that the Britishers, whenever they were doing any import from import or export, so either they had to pay very nominal tax or it was total duty free. Whereas if Indian had to do any kind of import to England or from England or export to England, then Indians had to pay heavy taxes or they have to give the heavy taxation. Therefore, such discrimination was made by the Britishers. Apart from that, Indian handmade goods were unable to compete with the cheaper machine made goods. As we know, in England was industry wise it was in a good position. Why? Because raw materials from the India they were getting at cheaper rate, and after preparing the goods in their own factories they were selling those goods to us Indians at higher rate. So here Indians were facing double loss. How? First loss, that raw material which we were selling, that we had to sell at the lower rate, and secondly the goods which they were manufacturing from our raw material only, they were reselling it us at the higher rate, so they were having double profit and we were at the double loss. Now, drain of wealth. After the Battle of Plassey, Britishers stopped bringing gold to India. Before than that, as we know, Britishers came in India for the trade purpose, and as they have come for the trade purpose, so they needed money. So to expand their business in our country, they needed money, and in form of money they have brought along with them gold coins which they were using. But now what happened after the Battle of Plassey, they began to purchase raw materials for British industry for surplus revenues of Bengal. After the Battle of Plassey, they were no more bringing the coins from England, because the tax which was collected, or the revenue which was collected from the Bengal region by the Britishers, so that money only they were utilizing in their own business. Thus, Britishers started plundering India's raw material and resources and wealth. So, now if we have to term the drain of wealth, the transfer of wealth from India to England, or the money which was transferred from India to England, for which Indian got no proportionate economic return, is called the drain of wealth. Now, decay of cotton industries and handicrafts. So, as we know, Britishers were expanding their industries, and raw materials were also sold at cheaper rate plus higher higher we have to purchase the finished good at the higher rate. So therefore competition was also increasing in form of the industries where people or handmade goods could not compete with the machine made goods. So if a choice was supposed to be made in front of any Indian or any person, so definitely people were now more and more inclined towards to the machine made goods. So therefore loss of employment brought decay of the cottage industries in our country. Then economic decline of peasantry. Peasantry means farmer. Okay, peasant means farmer. So peasants had to pay heavy taxes and land revenues. Example, now in Bengal the land revenue was double the amount collected under the Mughal. So as we can see, the peasants or the farmers were also dissatisfied by the rule of the Britishers, because now almost double of the tax they had to pay, which they were paying it before the Britishers came in India. And not even a part was spent on the development of agriculture or on the welfare of the cultivators. So one, they had to pay the double taxes. Second, that they whatever money was collected in form of tax, that was not used on the people's welfare, rather those money was sent to England. So that was the drain of wealth, as we have discussed it previously. Now, next point, that is inhuman treatment of indigo cultivators. As you remember, we have discussed that Indians were forced to grow the indigo. Now, inhuman treatment, how ill treatment was made to those indigo cultivators. As we know, they were forced to grow the crop, as well as if they planted anything else in their fields, then their crops were destroyed and their cattle were carried off as punishment. So such a harsh treatment was done to the indigo cultivators if they were not listening what Britishers were telling to them. Then poverty and famine. There were 12 major and numerous minor famines between 1765 and 1857. They were the result of drought, other natural calamities, and bad administration. Because by bad administration, because nothing was done for the people's welfare. Though the Britishers were collecting taxes from us, but then too, at the time of the crisis, also even uh, the administration was not good to help the people, those who are facing the natural calamities. So therefore it brought lot of destruction and disappointment in the Indians when Britishers were doing such things. Decline of landed aristocracy. Hereditary landlords and talukdars, 20,000 estates were confiscated. Confiscated means taken away. And why their lands were taken away? Of those talukdars or landlords who couldn't produce evidence of ownership. That means those who don't have the legal paper or documents related to their estates or to their property, their land was taken away. And then what was done? It was auctioned because of the Inam Commission. So Inam Commission came, according to which the people, those who will not have their proper legal papers of the property, their land will be taken away by the Britishers. So what Britishers were doing after those lands? The merchants and money lenders bought those estates and then they exploited the tenants. Obviously the tenants would be the farmer, because the farmers or the peasants, they were working in the fields, in the fields of the merchants and money lenders. They were producing, they were growing the crops, and the benefit was given to only to the merchants and money lenders, and from merchants and money lenders the money was taken by the Britishers. So now those were the economic causes. Now we will be discussing military causes. First, that is the ill treatment of Indian soldiers. As we know, Indian soldiers were poorly paid, ill fed, and badly housed. Poorly paid means though the work of the Indian soldier and British soldiers was same, but then too, with the racial discrimination, the salaries of the Indian soldiers were less as compared to the British soldiers. Even they were ill treated, they were badly treated, and proper living to live house was also not provided to those Indian soldiers. Then Indian soldiers were forbade from wearing caste and sectarian marks. Any kind of turban, any kind of kada, they were not allowed to wear it. So that was all the restrictions which was imposed on the Indian soldiers. Then there were the bleak prospects of promotion. They could not be promoted to the higher rank. Indian soldiers could only be maximum be promoted to the post of Subedar. Beyond than the post of Subedar, Indian soldiers could not be promoted. Then about the salaries, which we have discussed before also, uh, as compared to the Indian soldiers, British soldiers for the same work, they were getting at least 8 times more salary for the same work which was done by the so that much discrimination was made. Then German General Service Enlistment Act. According to the German Service Enlistment Act, this is very important. This question is frequently asked in board examination. So it was a taboo for the Brahmin soldiers. There was a belief that Brahmin soldiers could not cross the sea, and if they are going to cross the sea, then it is going to spoil the religion. Taboo means it was a belief, it was restricted not to cross the sea. But as per the General Service Enlistment Act, which was passed in the year 1856, Indian soldiers were supposed to go overseas on the duty. So as a part of the duty, they were asked to go overseas. So according to the Indians, it was against of their own religion. Why? Because they were forced to go overseas, which was not allowed as per their religion. The large proportion of Indians in the British Army. Now, this point was the positive point which we find in the revolt of 1857, because uh, if we see the Indian soldiers and army, or the British soldiers and army, in that number of Indian soldiers were much more as compared to the British soldiers. So when the revolt has taken place, so that worked as the positive point for the Indians while revolting against the Britishers. So as we see, in 1856, number of soldiers worked in British Army. The Indian soldiers were 2,38,000, whereas the British soldiers were mere 45,322. Deprivation of allowances. Soldiers were asked to stay away from their homes without extra payment and additional bhatta. No extra money was given to the Indian soldiers to stay away from the family. So one grief Indian soldiers were having, that they had to stay away from the family, they have to go overseas, plus they were not getting any extra income for that. And on top of it, there was an act which was passed in year 1854, that was the Post Office Act, according to which the privileges of free postage, free post to send the letters, inland letters at that time, that was also taken away by the sepoys. They had to pay for it, and then they could only send the letters or postals to their family. Then faulty distribution of troops. Here again, at the important or the strategic places like Allahabad and Delhi, the number of Indian soldiers were more as compared to the British soldiers. So this was again the positive point for the Indian soldiers for the revolt of 1857. Then poor performance of British troops. Poor performance of British army in various wars broke the myth that the British were invincible. Previously, it was thought that Britishers are invincible. Why? Because they are very powerful, and they are having lots and lots of resource and money, through which now people used to think that Britishers cannot be defeated. But with the various examples which were taking place in the world, Indian people got motivated, and they came to know that Britishers are not invincible, even they can also be defeated. So it worked as the motivational force or motivational source for the Indian soldiers to revolt against the Britishers. The immediate cause, as we know, the introduction of the Enfield rifle was made in 1856 to train the Indian soldiers. So, changes were made, according to which in that rifle a cartridge was supposed to be used, which was there was a rumor regarding the cartridge that the cartridge is made up of fat of cow and pig. As we know, cow is very sacred animal for Hindus, and for pig, it is pig for Muslims. It is a taboo for them. It is not accepted in the religion. So therefore, it hurted the sentiments of the Indian soldiers, and therefore they refused to use such kind of cartridges. Why? Because it was told that in this rifle they had to bite it off the cartridge from the mouth, and then they have to load that cartridge in the gun. So therefore, in this way, the direct contact was made between their body and that particular cartridge. So therefore, it was refused by the Indian soldiers, and they revolted, especially Mangal Pandey revolted against it. And the first war of independence initiated, or the revolt of 1857 initiated.